This is my review of the Royal Kludge RC930. This is a 55-gram weighted electrocapacitive keyboard. Does that mean it's a Topra keyboard? Close, but no cigar. This is an imitation, but a damn good one for its price. I want to note that throughout the shots, you will notice two different key sets on this keyboard, a Hangul set from IMSTO, as well as a black on black set from Geekkeys. Both are PBT die subsets, and with my calipers, I measured them to both have the same thickness. I don't expect them to be any different when typing, but I have included video samples with typing on both keycap sets. The specs of this keyboard are quite easy to go through. These are 55-gram RGB electrocapacitive switches that are Cherry MX compatible. Ooh. There are a plethora of RGB effects that all look decent. The keyboard comes pre-silenced, which means O-rings have been installed on the sliders before the keyboard is shipped to the customer. The keyboard comes with better than expected ABS keycaps. I'll go over that later. On the back side, there are 4 rubber pads to prevent your keyboard from sliding around. The flip-up feet only have 2 positions, up and down. They are also covered in rubber on the bottom of the feet, so you don't have to worry about your keyboard sliding around. The cable is attached to the keyboard, but at least there are 3 different channels for wire management. On my RC930, I have 2 different sets on it throughout this video, the black PBT keycaps and the Hangul PBT keycaps, and they both add a very nice satisfying thock to the upstroke. But don't get me wrong, if I didn't have a spare key set laying around, I'd be pretty happy with the stock keycaps. Look at this picture of the keycap thickness. The keycaps from left to right are Signature Plastics DCS Twilight sets. The second cap is Originiv's black on black double shot ABS set. The third keycap is one of the stock keycaps for the RC930, and the final one on the right is a JTK purple on white keycap. And now, here are some pictures for you to see the relative differences in their thickness. The stock keycaps on the RC930 aren't as thick as the JTK keycaps or many other thicker ABS keycaps like Signature Plastics double shot SA keycaps, but they definitely have enough thickness to add a satisfying thock. On the other hand, they are way thicker than standard OEM keycaps. Standard OEM keycaps are as thin as a Project Runway model after Tyra Banks and Tim Gunn yells at her telling her she's a failure. The stock RC930 keycaps, on the other hand, are like Kim Kardashian's backside when she tried to break the internet. While they're noticeably thicker than OEM ABS keycaps, they still aren't the thickest keycaps out there. It's definitely worth the upgrade to a nicer key set, but I think these keycaps will be just fine to tolerate while you decide what you want to replace them with. In the end, they are ABS and prone to shine, and that means they have a texture that some people may not appreciate later on. The LED effects are relatively well done. On the continual changing color effects, you may notice a very slight instance of flickering, but only when you focus on a single light or a small group of lights. Otherwise, it seems to look smooth enough. Here's some slow-mo footage to see the LED flicker in action as the color changes. It's not that bad overall, and I don't think it'd be something that would rule out this keyboard for those considering it. There is also programming software on Royal Kludge's website, although I've never bothered to touch it because the default RGB effects are just fine with me, and I don't have an issue with the standard TKL layout and key bindings. This software is probably useful if you're looking to reprogram things like swap caps lock and control, like on Realforce keyboards. The stabilizers are similar to CoStar stabilizers with the wire and the inserts. Mine came lubed quite well, so between inserting the inserts, I had to constantly wipe my hands. The stabilized keys feel smooth and well done. Great lube job, Royal Kludge. Like the NovaTouch, one of the big selling points of this keyboard is the fact that it's Cherry MX compatible. So far, I haven't had any keyset compatibility issues, but I haven't tried too many keycap sets out with it. From what I've read elsewhere, the sliders may not be easily swapped with other Topra keyboards because of the extra space they created to fit the RGB LED. If you want MX compatible sliders on your Topra keyboard, you might be better off with a NovaTouch or waiting until independent sliders hit the market. With my PBT keycaps, this keyboard is pretty quiet with the O-rings. It's not the quietest sound, but it's damn quiet. The quietness is well appreciated. There are some girls you wouldn't take home to meet your mom, just like how there are some keyboards you shouldn't bring to work. The RC930 is reserved, yet colorful in her own way. Some may call her derivative, but she stands unique on her own. She's a nice girl worth taking home to meet mom. Bring to work. How does she type? With the O-rings, the RC930 types like a more subdued and quieter RF87U 55 gram. It's not as snappy, but a part of that could be due to the O-rings. I can't talk about the RC930 without having to compare it RF87U 55 gram edition. So here's a typing video of the RF87U as well as the RC930. My RF87U has Nisho High Pro keycaps, so it's not exactly stock, but it is unsilenced. The RC930 has a bit more flex than the RF87U, so Realforce's keyboard does feel more solid. Of course, we're comparing a $130 keyboard to a $200 one. In the end, would I recommend the RC930? I would if you're not looking to spend as much money, or you'd rather spend the difference in keycaps. The RC930 might be a good bet for you. An attractive feature for many is the Cherry MX compatible sliders, which allows way more customization than the RF87U. On the other hand, the Realforce is definitely a more solidly built, snappier feeling keyboard. Does the RC930 offer a Topra-like experience? Yes. Is it MX Keycap compatible? Yes. Does it have RGB lighting? Yes. Does it have reprogramming software? Yes. Is it an authentic Topra experience? No. If you can live with that and the slightly lower build quality and enjoy O-ring silenced keyboard, you should look into the RC930.